Welcome to Inquiry into Self. So, if I am the divine, if I am infinite being, why does my life look like this? We are looking at our lives and we have so many ideas about what is best. We have ideas about what's best about our body, what's best about our relationships, what's best about our finances, and the list goes on and on. But what is best according to our mind is clearly not right. Can you feel all the suffering from thinking that our mind knows best? Now, the mind doesn't shut up, it turns out, not usually. But believing our mind is a sure pathway to suffering. But how in the world could the divine actually want my body to have this problem? How in the world could the divine actually want the world to go through this problem it's going through? How in the world could the divine really want my finances to look like they look? Whatever it is that's going through our head, our mind is so certain and so sure. Well, usually it's not going to be in one day that the mind quits thinking it's right. But there is grace. There's so much grace. First, we can actually feel into what's here right now. We can tune into our feet, we can tune into our bodies. If your body's in a lot of pain, then you might want to go even deeper to the awareness that holds the body. And as you feel what is here right now, if somebody told you, 20 years from now, you're going to look back and this was the very best part of your life. Somebody told you that 20 years from now, you're going to look back and right now it's going to be the best time of your life. What would you think? Where would you have to look to see really what is so good right now that is actually going to become so important to me in the future? That flips your mind on its head. Well, it's true. I have whatever it is. I have the capacity to go on these gorgeous walks. I have this one amazing friendship. Or I do have this house that I love living in. Whatever it is, you can just check and see, what is it that I would cherish about my life right now? If I were told this was going to be the best years of my life, what would it be? What's the goodness I might be overlooking? And that starts to kind of shake up the mental apparatus. It's always the mental apparatus causing us our suffering. Sure, we might have pain, we might have somebody else's anger coming at us, but all those things are actually sensations passing right through. If we don't take on any belief about them, no belief whatsoever, no belief, I'm going to be in pain forever. No belief, now I've been totally disrespected and I deserve something that they've said, or I earned it, or there's something wrong with me. None of that. No belief whatsoever. Then any experience just becomes a sensation coming in and a sensation going out. Now, the idea of a sensation is truly just a sensation. We usually add in a lot of beliefs like, well, that's the sensation of being embarrassed. No. Embarrassment is an interpretation of a sensation. If there was somebody looking from another planet looking at us, They wouldn't know what embarrassment was, most likely. All they could see is, oh, look at her heartbeat got faster and her gut got tighter. Oh, her throat got constricted and a bunch of pressure built up in her head. That's it. That's the sensation. So there's no sensation called embarrassment. There's no sensation called anger. There's no sensation called fear. There's no sensation called sadness. All of those things are interpretations of sensations. So really, if we get down to the very, very basic, the sensation is simply a pressure, a temperature, a increase in energy or decrease in energy. It can be a fast moving or slow moving, a tightening and opening. That's all. That's all sensation is. That's all there is that we're experiencing. And the divine is interested in this flux of experience. So why does my life look like this? Because the divine wants it. Now we're attached to these small expressions of ourselves. And the small expressions can feel hurt. But when we tap into the bigger part of us, the timeless part of us, it's not harmed. It's kind of like you've seen those bodybuilders, right? And they say, punch my abs. They come up to you and you're supposed to just bang them in the gut and, your fist just bounces off of them. You can punch them as hard as you want. Same thing's going to happen. This isn't really a very good analogy, but the infinite is like that bodybuilder, right? Punch my abs. The infinite is interested in all the experiences because none of it can harm it. None of it can harm it. So it's kind of like that. And we are that. Now, if you were this little skin cell on the very surface of the abs, when you're getting punched, it might hurt, right? That little skin cell might be hurting. The big bodybuilder is not hurting, but that little skin cell just might be hurting. We forget. We think we're like that little skin cell. But actually, we are like the bodybuilder. So imagine, how big would you have to be? How strong would you have to be? How fearless would you have to be interested in the experiences you're having today? I mean, it really, talk about a mind bender. This is the great exercise of blowing the mind. How big, how strong, how timeless would I have to be to think that this is an interesting adventure? There's those people who they are masters at using a compass and knowing how to navigate through the woods. And, you could plop them down in somewhere and they could find their way out and they would think that was an amazing challenge. They loved it, right? They pay money to be put on these places to experience these challenges because they're so good at it. They want to have themselves tested. Imagine how amazingly emotionally strong, how amazingly resilient, how amazingly courageous you must be to find your life always interesting and never a problem. Not only must you be like one of those amazing navigators and amazing bodybuilders, but you must also be a lot like, those people who they can walk straight up to a crazy person having a massive fit, and somehow they can sink into their energy and bring calmness. And so they like to work in these places where there's a lot of people who are blowing up, and they know how to sink in and bring sanity to the moment. Like they're masters at it. Well, you must be kind of like that too, because look at the situations in your life. Like, keep looking at all these masters that have this immense space and capacity and wisdom. And is, that is our true being. Fascinated by these challenging lives that we create for ourselves. The mastery of the life is getting to the point where we can see the game, where each new thing is just another chuckle. So it turns out I'm good at this too. I had no idea I was good at this too. But here's the challenge before me. If I thought that this was a fun thing, it must be that I'm good at this too. When we get to that point, that's the game. That's the game. It doesn't happen overnight usually. It doesn't happen with all the big things in our life first. Lots of times it's the little things. Some people it's the opposite. The big things don't bother them. They can laugh at those. It's the little day-to-day irritations that they can't laugh at, whichever it is for you. When you get to the point where you just can laugh, oh my gosh, I'm good at this too. There are those people who are so good at working on cars, and they drive around these cars that I would be scared to drive around in. It seems like every time they stop, they lift up the hood and they do something in there. I'd be scared about that, right? But they think it's fun. They know how to master this car. They know how to get it to run. They've got your little tricks, and they're the expert at this car. That's what we all are. We are the experts of this vehicle of our life. And we like getting the puzzles to show up, and we laugh. Oh my gosh, I created a puzzle like this for myself. And another puzzle like this for myself. I don't know how I'm going to make this one work out, but apparently I must be good at it. It's like when you're in a movie and you know the end is good. It's either you've read something or somebody told you, or you just know the director, whatever. You know the end is good. Then when it gets really, really bad, there's a part of you that's like, wow, how are they going to work themselves out of this plot? You don't have to let yourself totally despair, because there's the part that knows it's going to work out. So why does our life look like this? Well, our brain is the one that's saying that there's something wrong. The rest of us, all the rest of the immensity, is laughing and saying, wow, I created myself a nice challenge. Wow, I created myself a nice game. Now, you got to be gentle with yourself, right? So we're not in that space. We're feeling despondent. We're feeling the despair. Well, that too is part of the challenge. It's okay. Wow, I'm going to go through this amount of hopelessness. Just, you can have the space, have the compassion, have the holding. Just sense that which is us that's bigger yet. And know it shall pass. So there's no requirement, of course, that you be joyful and laughing at everything. No, this is the human experience. The human experience is to be the human. But when you're just tired of that hopelessness, it's okay. You can tap into the deeper part. And the deeper part can remind us that what we are is bigger yet. So every new problem is just an opportunity to blow our minds, to imagine something bigger, to taste this infinite being that can take us through even this. Wow, I'm going to be carried through even this. And we see our loved one who seems to be going through something so grueling. Wow, they are going to be carried through even that. You can be this presence, this strong presence beside them, unafraid, knowing they are going to be carried through even that. Maybe there's something for you to do that often there's nothing we can do. But just be that certain presence. They are going to be carried through even that. We are infinite beyond comprehension, capable beyond comprehension. There's an inner strength that will show up in the moment that we need it. There's a story about the child going on the train with the grandpa, and always they didn't get their ticket till right before the ticket person came, and the grandpa hands them their ticket, and then they hand it to the ticket person. We get our ticket right in the moment that we need it. Projecting, oh my gosh, we have no idea what's going to be in the next moments. But the ticket will show up in the moment that we need it. Maybe not how we expect. But look, I can rehash in my life over and over all these times that I was worried and it worked out. Over and over. My schooling worked out, my jobs worked out, my money worked out, my relationships worked out. However they ended, it all worked out. So rather than rehashing all the potential anxieties, we can use our brain, use it as a way of reminding us, wow, yes, an inner strength, an inner wisdom, extra resources, help that was unexpected shows up. It's this invitation to being in the moment, right? We wanted something to help us become more present. Well, our life showed up. A constant invitation to be present. Not with our defenses, not relying on our plans and analysis. Sure, those are helpful tools, but they're just tools. Not relying on everything we know, not relying on our social position, not relying on our financial position. Just relying on the being in the moment, that infinite strength, that infinite wisdom, that infinite holding, so that we don't have to project anything. We don't have to defend. We don't have to masquerade. We just show up, show up, show up. And we might as well congratulate ourselves along the way. Why not? Why not? So if I'm the divine, why does my life look like this? To give me reasons to congratulate myself. That's why my life looks like this. If I'm the divine, why does my life look like this? Because I wanted to see what kind of inner strength there could be. Because I wanted to develop compassion for other people. Because I wanted to see what wisdom feels like, placed in the context of where wisdom gets to be used. I wanted to feel what courage feels like, placed in the context where courage gets to be used. If I am the divine, why does my life look like this? Because something in me wants it. What in me wants this moment? What in me wants this moment? And look. Wow, it turns out life is designing something way bigger than I was planning. I was planning this life that, I had 3 jobs. No. Life's got me having 6 jobs. Because life wanted to dance me in and among all these different people, all these different scenarios, What variety, what adventure. Why is my life like this? Because the divine loves this. And when we relax into, okay, maybe the divine is bigger than I thought. Maybe the divine has values different than I thought. Maybe the divine isn't so interested in safety. Maybe the divine is more interested in resilience, resourcefulness, interdependence, all these other things. Well, the more that we try to override with our brain, the more we're going to suffer. But the more that we just relax and notice, oh, the divine is not a master gardener making all these straight lines. The divine is a forest tender, making all these fallen trees that give birth to all this abundance of life, making all these waterfalls that flourish and then diminish, and then flourish and diminish with every season, making this abundance of seeds, and many of the seeds never get planted. They just blow away in the wind. This forest, this is the divine. And as we open up into this wildness beyond our imagination, we also tap into a strength beyond our imagination. It's a rediscovery of what we are. Why is my life like this? Because something in me is in love with this. And when I take the time, comfort the mind, but then tap into this inner space, this inner aliveness, and just see what is its interest. How does it create? We begin to recognize this vastness, this alive immensity that we are. Why does my life look like this? Because I am rediscovering what I am. And these are the circumstances that allow that to happen. Wow, this new problem is just another opportunity to rediscover what I am. I'm going to discover an interdependence I didn't even know. I'm going to discover a strength I didn't even know, a wisdom, a courage, a compassion I didn't even know. So we all have paid money for movies or roller coasters or whatever it is, because there's that within us who feels safe in all these experiences of life and enjoys all the ups and all the downs. So allow each life experience to continually be an invitation. And I know this is not something foreign to you. I'm sure you know this. It's just allowing it to flourish, right? And just catalyzing what you already know. Just catalyzing it. Why does our lives look like this? Because what we truly are wants it. And if this has helped you, or you think it might help somebody else, please push like and subscribe.